Hello everybody, this is Vincent, aka BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is Saturday, and we are diving back into more Apollo Justice. Okay, so last time that we were playing Apollo Justice, I remember the last case involved a heck of a lot of rock and roll, and it also involves one particular client that I cannot for the life of me understand, because I forget what the language is, like Borganese or whatever the hell. I don't know. It's a foreign language that nobody around here could possibly understand. Therefore, my client can't even defend himself, much less how the hell am I supposed to defend him? Because I don't know what he's saying. For all I know, he did it. But anywho's, let's go ahead and dive right into the game. So, give me one quick second to level stuff out, and we will be ready to go. There we go, and we're good. Anywho's, yes. We should be starting with the trial today, so let's just start intense. How about that? Oh shit, we're starting like right inside the courtroom. Not even like, you know, a little buffer room or anything. Oh, good. All right. July 9th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court. Courtroom number 3. Hello, Mr. Judge. Court is now in session for... how do I say that? He couldn't read the name on his little piece of paper. Okay.
Machi Tobai, Your Honor. The pixie of the arpeggio.
Right. His trial. The court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Prosecution is A-OK, Herr Judge.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My opening statement, yeah?
No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about.
Yes?
Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? What? I mean, you wouldn't say, get well soon, right? Or you'd only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill right after this trial. The Chief Justice's son.
Chief Justice?
His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day. Why don't grubs ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending?
She's looking at me with something like disgust.
Hey, what are you looking at me for? Here, real quick, I'm gonna make sure that the audio is leveled out. Just because I'm paranoid and I want to make sure. No, that actually sounds fine. I wasn't sure if I set it up at the proper audio today. Whatever, seems okay. In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Please, no, Judge. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly.
You're in luck, Herr Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think.
Okay.
First, to review the victim in this case. Romain Letousse, age 35.
And also constant Nicolas Cage impersonator.
The global manager for diva songstress L'Amour. Cause of death? Blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details.
The court accepts this into evidence. Okay, I'll look at that. 45 caliber. That's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. Indeed, and that's exactly what happened.
However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved.
I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering. That's grisly.
2 shots were fired. One shot missed. The other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram.
Yes, that's exactly it.
This is where the bullets hit.
I see. The court accepts this evidence. Alright, we're getting all the pieces to the puzzle. If we're talking about a .45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use. Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. Maybe every bone in his arm. That seems a little bit extravagant, Mr. Apollo. The defense will take more care in choosing examples.
As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage, in a dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door.
That does seem to be the case, yes.
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots.
He's talking about you and Emma, huh?
Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
But that's impossible!
Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person.
Who? I mean, are we gonna nail it on my client or me? One person?
That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tobaye.
Only the defendant could have committed the crime? But how?
It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear.
Very well. I assume you have testimony to back up this claim? Let the witness please take the stand. Oh, that's gonna be a failure on... Oh, no, it's the witness, okay. We're not calling my client a goddamn witness. No, he's the guilty party. Alright.
Your name and profession, please.
Emma Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night.
Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say?
Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder.
Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
I'm sure that makes her feel much better.
I'm just trying to think of what kind of mistake could he have made. Oh, I suppose he could make a mistake and, point the finger at the wrong person. I'm sure he's old enough that he probably pointed several people from the 1700s into a jail cell. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. Yes.
In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered. And we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony, if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please.
All right.
Well, pretty sure we could trust what she says to a point.
The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room, filled with blaring rock music, and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
Come on, Emma, please. It was lucky that a detective was the first on the scene.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Then I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it?
Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Yeah, and we're going to get our information through this, I guess. Very well, madam. I'm going to go ahead and save just to make sure that we are covered in the event of anything going completely wrong. Right. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage. Prosecutor Gavin's request. Oh, yeah? The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes?
That's right.
What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert.
My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods.
Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall.
Conspiracy?
Well, isn't it obvious? My keys. That whole morning. No, the whole day was ruined. It's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. Couldn't open my guitar case.
There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? I mean, we eventually found them.
Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own.
What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect!
He's got a smooth way out of this, I guess.
Love. Slow acting and new.
Oh my god, that word. Antraquinine? Atraquinine?
He's waiting for you.
He's singing something. Okay, I was supposed to be singing there. I screwed that up. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? Yes.
The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen, so I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task.
I see. I can accept that.
Well, I can't! What do you mean?
Please, the testimony.
Oh, great. We got so much information out of that. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage.
We were let in, though.
I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you.
I gave the Fraulein a special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again.
Oh, boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now.
Gee, great.
Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off.
So no other outsiders were there then.
And then, at the beginning of the third set, I heard shots.
I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots.
You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos.
Hey, no snacking in court!
We've already had several people kill themselves on account of just, eating things that they really shouldn't have been doing in court. Alright.
And you're sure the shots came from Lemoire's room?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet.
Thanks. So, how about it?
We were right there. Hard to be mistaken about that.
Please either talk or eat, not both at the same time.
Alright, after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I've seen a couple of people that have made eating while talking into a ridiculous science. I've seen that before. Just their cheeks are filled with frickin' food, but you never see an eye or a wink of it, and they can still keep talking. He's creepy. Went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body.
Rock?
Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days with those millennials?
That's right. When we went into the dressing room, music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They pipe sound from the stage into the backstage through the speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage.
Did it have to be so loud?
You don't listen to the Gavineers with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. They always have the backstage monitors at full volume.
When we walked into the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing,
then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi. Including myself.
Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. I want to hear a little more information about how you say that he's the only one that could have done it.
How could you know something like that?
As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only appeared
opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility. The air vent. Well, no. But the air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child.
Child?
Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed.
And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
The defendant?
The pixie of the arpeggio fitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
Oh, yeah. But that's just conjecture.
Oh. Was there no other way out of that room? You were there. You should know. Yeah, forehead.
And there is another vital piece of evidence. Please tell me what it is, then. Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened.
Wait, what?
And something else was found, quite clearly. The defendant, Machi Tobias... Wait, what? Okay, for some reason, this game has been skipping through a whole lot of dialogue there. Like, I wasn't pressing the button at all throughout that entire thing. Is there, like, a button pressed down on this thing somewhere that, like, I'm accidentally hitting? I don't know, it's weird. It's like the cutscenes are kind of playing themselves here and not giving me the chance to actually, pace it out the way I want to. Order, 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 order!
That air vent was the only way out of that room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you?
Grr.
Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie.
Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it in the audience, yeah.
So this was his decisive evidence. Quite decisive, indeed. I believe that's enough of that.
Uh-oh.
The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough.
It can't be over already. Very well, I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence...
Prosecution has presented our proof, clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it had better be clear and plain.
Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already. We better come up with something quick.
I know. Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence, or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that... Gulp. Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's evidence? I get able to save. I have no freaking idea, but I'm saving here just in case. Okay. Contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case. If you do, you better tell us about it now. This is it. And so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. I think I need to take a look at the evidence real quick. Okay, they're not allowing me to touch the, they're not allowing me to touch anything involved with the vent, so... Guten Tag! Hello, Mario. Okay. So... what about some of the newer evidence? I'm wondering... Loss of breath, a gunshot wound... I guess the one thing that's really breaking my brain with this is... Do you really think the kid would have been able to handle a 45? Like, for real, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to begin with. If it's gonna crush... It's clearly the badge. I don't think so. And then this crime photo, which... there's really nothing to talk about there. Not yet. Maybe it does have something to do with the diagram. So, in some capacity, those were the shots. That was the way out. The vent was directly next to the door. I guess the only thing that really sticks out in my mind is the fact that it's a goddamn murder weapon. Deadly high-caliber revolver. Maybe. Found at the crime scene. Turns out it belongs to Lamoire. That might be something. Because, wait, we found that in that room, right? I think so. Found the victim's left hand. Holds keys to guitar case. Well, I still have no idea what the heck that means. And that's my request. Lyric sheet. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna read through this and see what happens. The court wants contradicting proof. Present evidence. Call witness. I don't have proof. I do have one particular witness that I think might be able to make this work. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure?
Absolutely. I'd swear to my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Entraquinine, My Love.
Entraquinine. There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness. Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not? Because I am the one who in the world knows who knows. Wait, Jesus. This sentence screwed me up here. I am the only one in the world who knows this. Oh, okay. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... he's alive! Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Ah, cold. So cold. I think I got this. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry. You're gonna be fine. Help us on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was this witness? The witness is Siren. They've shown his death so many times. I know, right? I hope his family members aren't watching this. But what? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not.
What do you mean by that?
All we know is what Air Forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself.
Oh, yeah? But it's the truth, he said it! I even told you about it, but apparently you ignored me completely.
It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly, this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough! Mr. Justice, we need clear, contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for.
There's no backing out now. Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice. Well, the only person that I think could possibly be called the Siren is a person who left a little bit of a brooch back. Lamoire? Recall Mr. Latouche's last words. Here it is again. The witness is Siren. The Siren? He meant the Siren! That's right. The Siren of the ballad. Lamoire! Lamoire was was only on stage for the second set. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness. I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please, show Lamoire to the witness stand. Lamoire would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. And we got some proof that she was there, so we got a good grounds to blame her.
It is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom.
You are too kind.
You can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good, there is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it.
Clearly, it was just American television. She's probably got several different catchphrases in her head, from just American sitcoms.
What are you talking about, Willis?
What does she mean she doesn't know?
I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course.
What's that?
L'Armoire suffers from amnesia.
Horseshit! Amnesia?
L'Armoire is not my true name, yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Whoa! She's even more mysterious than I thought.
As a lauded singer, L'Armoire, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see. Boy, what a noble little angel you are. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, L'Armoire.
Thank you. Yet, there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened.
L'Armoire, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet, that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand.
Don't throw this on me, although it's absolutely my fault. Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. All right. Let's try and look for some nervous twitches, shall we?
As for what I saw nothing. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
Meh. I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying. I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. Yeah.
There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now, we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be.
Whatever. Nobody's visiting the hospital today. Nobody. Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go. Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet. L'Armoire wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. And I'm going to assume that I will be able to find a nervous twitch in this entire thing. As for what okay, so saves. That being said, I think I need to actually press her a couple of times before I can actually call out nervous twitches. Or is that not the case? I don't know. Anyways, really, you saw nothing? But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you.
Mr. Latouche? How can I tell you what I don't know?
L'Armoire! He said you were a witness with his dying words.
I do not know what he meant to say, but that night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did.
It was a great concert.
You heard me sing? Oh, thank you.
I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually.
Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One of my gavel would be nice.
Here, Judge.
What's this?
It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving.
What? Oh, my grandchild would be so happy.
Stop fawning over the royalty in this courtroom. Apparently his grandson's a big fan.
Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lamar. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance.
I did not return backstage after the second set.
You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing?
I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing.
And was Machi with you at the time?
Unfortunately, I do not know where he was.
So much for an alibi for Machi.
Then I was led by police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there.
With Machi, correct? How was he then?
He seemed as he always does. Though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latus's death. Yet, he is not the type to show much emotion.
Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far.
We sat there waiting. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
Well, should we tell you the details now? How was the incident explained to you?
I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latus died.
Of course, investigations require some security.
But Mr. Latus was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern.
Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you.
Yes, I understand.
Think? What doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Lamar lying. She might not be lying. Oh, wait, she might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder? Interesting. I saw nothing. The night I was invited to sing on stage. I did not return backstage after the second set. Led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room, told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. The only thing I could possibly think is that she's trying to protect Machi somehow, and then by that regard, maybe there's some kind of a proof. Well, actually, wait a minute. I think we're thinking a little too far ahead on this one. We need to prove that, yeah, she... Let's see. I did not return backstage after the second set. Really? Found this at the crime scene. Turns out it belongs to Lamar. Let's start out with that, eh? I'm sorry, Lamar, but I'm having trouble believing you. Yeah. You remember this brooch, do you not?
Was that Lamar's? Why, that's Lamar's. She was wearing it for a song.
Here. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? Whoa. This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime.
What?
Lamar, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you'd been wearing it during your performance that night. The veil has been lifted.
What's the meaning of this, Lamar? Please explain.
Lamar? God damn it.
She says English is quite difficult.
That trick's not going to work here.
Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact.
What now?
Blark.
In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment.
Oh, nice cover-up.
What?
Block, block. Human centipede. I don't know. There was one like pose in the middle of that's all I can think about when anybody's on the fetal position.
Think back to the moment of the crime.
Actually, it's not fetal position. It's actually isn't there there's a term for it, right? Aura. I think that's it. It's like head first, like hands down look like the R, and then the feet somehow are in the shape of like an A. I think that there's a meme of it, and it just shows like some like the O slamming into the floor. I've seen that before.
You know whereof I speak.
I don't know. Am I off base with the random, not or like the random picturesque reference that I brought up without the actual picture? Probably. Is she really saying all that? Nope. What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred.
Is she talking about that?
Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup.
Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Oh god, he's still dead. Cold, so cold. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help is on the way. The witness is Siren. Siren. How can a siren witness anything? Yipes! Emma! What was that? Who's there?
What's wrong?
Emma, did you see anyone just now?
No.
I could have sworn I heard a door close.
Oh, great. I looked into the room just a glance, mind you.
Mario in the chat, just let me die already. Just let me live my dead life.
So, this was when your brooch dropped. That explains that.
It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it.
But that's ridiculous. You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch.
Yeah, forehand. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence.
So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Her forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed.
I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch, son of a bitch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something.
Lamar, you did look into the room, though, right?
Yes.
Testify as to what you saw.
Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses.
Aha! Now I can use my, my little bracelet.
When my performance was finished, I went backstage for just a moment.
Right then, I'm a save. I'm gonna drink of this.
Now, I recently picked up some Jones Soda from the store. Slowly but surely, as I've drank Jones Soda, I've begun to realize that it's not as interesting as I used to think. I used to think Jones Soda was amazing, but I think that's just because it was so rare for me to find it. And now it's just sort of meh. When my performance was finished... Here, maybe it's an eyeball or something. I went backstage for just a moment. I'm trying to think of what else could possibly twitch. Maybe I could look down at her finger, perhaps. Of course, this might not be the spot. No, I think her eyes are telling the absolute truth here. Can't look down any further than boobs. Son of a bitch. Okay. I don't think this is what I need to be calling on here. Maybe it's something else. Let me think. Okay, so we're trying to prove here, once and for all, that it wasn't just, like, just for a second. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. Okay. As for what I saw, let's see if this works. Again, eyes I think might be the big one. As for what I saw nothing. Huh. Okay. Yeah, the only thing I can take from her expression is her eyes, so I would think that's pretty much it. I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I don't know why there'd be a contradiction in this, but I'd like to see. That night, I was invited to sing on stage Alright, so yes. We have proved that it was actually her that sung on stage. Okay. I thought that'd be crazy, just being like, hey, why did you twitch there? Did you not sing on stage? Doppelgangers? I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latouse's body was behind a wall. That sounds new. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latouse's body was behind a wall. Unless there's a part of her body that moves that I don't frickin' know about. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. Okay. This is all interesting stuff. I I'm just waiting to see like an eye twitch, just like and told to wait. There, okay, no. You think it might be like a neck vein or something? Something like that? That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. Where are you now? I learned that something had happened. Maybe I actually need to press something else, because there are a couple of new things open, and I haven't actually pressed it on any of that. Mario knows what it is. Okay. Let me actually press these things, because I haven't done that yet. Went backstage for just a moment. Okay. What did you see in that brief glimpse? I had only opened the door slightly when I heard that horrible voice. And shut the door.
I've always wondered there, Forehead. Does that voice of yours lack a volume knob?
It's my cords of steel, man. Just back off. Saw nothing. The late Mr. Latouse's body was behind a wall. A wall? Was there a wall there? Is what in English?
A division or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room divided into two halves.
And the murder took place in the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body. And that's pretty much it for that. Okay. Huh. Let's see. Went backstage for just a moment. Yeah, I want to check something real quick. Because the eyes don't seem to be saying anything. But I wonder if maybe, like, her neckline would show something. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't told the details. Okay, don't think it's that line. I mean, I figured it wouldn't be that line. But I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. I don't know why there'd be anything weird with that, but... Trying to be tasteful and not look like down at the chest. If one of these things ends up making me look directly at a woman's chest, I'm going to be very angry with Japan. I mean, unless it's something like directly behind the veil, but I get this impression that, you know, past graphics for the DS, I get this impression that they wouldn't have hid something that specific behind that obscured, at least not like for one of the first couple of trials. Unless somehow it's her nose, I don't freaking know. Wait a minute. That's weird. Yeah, she's like swallowing there. The fuck? Okay, so it is a little bit obscured. Hear it again. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latour's body. Gotcha. Nervous swallow? The late Mr. Latour's body, you say? Yes. You know something more about Mr. Latour's death than you are saying. What? It's always the thing you gotta do something. Yeah, there's always something you gotta do on, yeah. I can see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. It is true. I was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latour have to be shot? There we go. Always the thing added to the testimony. Good point. One moment more. Yes. What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latour have to be shot? Yes. She was hiding something. I knew it. Lamar, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. How could that be? Take this. Lamar contradicted her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it. Okay. Why did he have to why did he have to be shot? Wait a The proof is that she wouldn't even know what the fuck happened. All right, how do I convey this though? Because I think there are several ways that I could do this. Because, I mean, in one vein, she wouldn't have even been able to see the gun. I don't think, because according to what's on the map, yeah, it's like way the hell. It might be the map. Let's try this. If I do not misunderstand the meaning of contradiction, it is you who contradict me. Oh, Mr. Just shit. Your evidence is meaningless. Get wrong evidence! Okay. No, the idea is that, yeah, I don't think she would have any idea. Why did Mr. Latour have to be shot? Alright, so the map itself, maybe I'm thinking a little too forward. Maybe the map will come into play a little bit later. Might just be the revolver. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. so it's not the diagram and it's not the gun. Does it very specific? Okay, is it because it specifically says something about the gunshot? What the fuck? Go slower? Hey, I'm just skipping through it because we already read it before, right? Unless you're talking about being slower or something else. What the fuck? The crime photo? Okay. It's not the crime photo. Your evidence is meaningless. I'm trying to think about all the evidence, but... Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot? She said she saw nothing. I don't think so. Son of a bitch. Ah! Okay, so it was roundabout. Okay, I was just trying to... The idea is, oh, there was a gag order. You wouldn't have been told this information. So, yeah, you haven't. Okay. I hate the fact that, like, in Phoenix Wright and, like, in Ace Attorney games, you could know the answer, but all the evidence could work for it in a roundabout, stupid way. Okay. Tell me, Lamar. How did you know he had been shot? I... Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known? Do I want to reset so I can have all the HP? You know what? If we get guilty verdicts, then it's fine. I will just save.
Lamar! You aren't hiding something from this court, I hope.
Yes. That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Now I remember, conveniently. Please allow me to add to my testimony.
Of course. All we want to know is the truth.
She looks kind of pale. I think she always looks pale. She saw something. I know it. Even the victim said so. I saw bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Latouche had been shot. Really? Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes? Yes, I recognized them immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know.
You have traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country.
I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lamar someday.
I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know?
Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour, too. Okay. Bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Latouche. Okay. I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, considering they're right on that fucking wall. Oopsies. I just went to the title screen. Hold on. So I think that's it. How would you know? The bullet holes are... Actually, come to think of it, if we look at it... Yeah, the door would have covered it up. That one was kind of obvious. Lamar, they call you the oh my god. Alright, please, give me access to the buttons. Don't just skip past shit. The lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice. Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo.
Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah?
Come on, can't I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lamar, you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct?
Yes, that is so.
There were bullet holes in the room, yes? But they were in the wall the door's on. You see? Assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. You worked the... Lamar.
Yes?
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
And I must tell you what it is that I saw.
Yes. This is the court of law, miss. Yeah, holding stuff from the court is literally illegal, but, unless it incriminates you. Does it incriminate you, madam? The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Borginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing.
But she knew how Mr. Latouche died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lamar. Very well. Lamar, please continue your testimony.
Very well. I shall.
What I saw. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was.
How do we contradict that? So you did witness the crime. And the killer was a grown person, you say?
Ugh. This is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Let's play here for it.
I don't play reality, sir. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You're right about Lamar.
What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. Okay. Press the hell out of her. On my way to the stage, backstage exit. So, you were heading towards the dressing room?
Yes.
So, this is a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard those shots.
I was on my way back. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
What exactly is something like a little window?
Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes.
You need not worry, Lamar. Your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers the detail.
That little window on the wall.
I saw the crime from there. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it.
You are certain you heard 2 shots fired?
Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot. Much closer.
And there were 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradiction so far.
It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do.
But it wasn't Machi. It wasn't Machi who shot. Are you sure?
Yes, quite certain.
It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor. Isn't it my job to object?
Yeah, Apollo, what were you thinking? Trucy, let's just listen to what Lamar has to say. Can you tell me how you were so sure?
Yes, of course. You see, it was a grown person. I know it was.
Description of the grown person?
A grown person. That's a little vague.
I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly, you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female.
It was a man. A young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes, his voice was quite clear.
Voice? Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man.
So you heard a voice. But wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche?
Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So, you were at the window, and you heard the shooter's voice. The voice of a young man.
Apollo, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi.
We'll see. Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion on this testimony?
Good question. Apollo seems to be doubtful in some capacity, but why would he be? Okay, so the window would have been just off to the right side, right over there. I mean, it's a really cramped space to be shooting someone. That's for damn sure. I kind of feel like... Well, I suppose you could shoot somebody from where the coat hangers are, so... First thing I thought was that maybe the window would have been blocked at the time of the crime, but then you would have shot through the divider. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And again, it is really cluttered. The sound of a man. Random-ass man. Confuses the ever-loving hell out of me, that's for sure. You know what? Out of complete and utter boredom, and I'm just going to go with it. Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Lamar's testimony that rings false.
Bravo, Forehead. You're colder than I thought.
I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through the air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime.
Oh, I get you. But that means Lamar has to be lying.
I know. And I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting.
It is as Forehead says. Yet, this is not the only contradiction within her testimony.
What next? What's he talking about?
Lamoire, I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember, you are the siren of the Jesus Christ, and lies do not become such a creature.
What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's he talking about?
How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that?
I recall the state of the crime scene quite well.
The state of the room?
Yes, and when the murder took place. That window was closed.
I mean, you could still see through it.
I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it.
Oh, herps. What? But I'm sure...
Lamoire, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense, but my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser.
But she's the only eyewitness we have.
So you say. And the victim named her the Siren as the witness?
That's right. That's what Mr. Latouche...
We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility. And it brought us to this. Judge,
Yes?
The prosecution requests that the witness be excused.
Please. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility. But if Lamar can't testify,
Then we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence.
ah, crap. This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case.
Adanka. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I would like to hear the Farline detective again.
Oh, God. Wait! Let me hear Lamar's testimony one last time! But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as a need arises, this witness may leave the stand.
Lucky bitch. I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance.
Crap.
At last, back to the real trial. Ready, Air Forehead?
I hope I didn't just miss my only chance.
Farline detective, how far have we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted?
Don't ask me!
I just like saying the same thing twice. And I never repeat a song for an encore.
If you would, Miss Sky.
I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Latou's killer could have escaped was through the air vent on the ceiling.
Ah, yes, there was only one door in the room, and a witness, you was standing in front of it.
The air vent isn't very big, see? Kinda limits the people who could possibly get through.
I certainly would have a difficult time.
You sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions for our killer is the defendant.
Virtuoso performance. I couldn't have put it better myself.
A young man, and there's no need to feel down. I say, young man, pick yourself off the ground.
She does state a clear case. Though, reading the report, something caught my eye.
Oh, what's that?
The circumstances of the defendant's arrest.
The circumstances?
Again?
Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. Yeah, that was really freaking weird. Just a rocking corpse and a passed out child.
Oh yeah, the Game Grumps version in your head. That was a pretty disturbing version.
Eat the poo-poo.
Why did Mr. Latou's body disappear from the room and end up on top of that stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less.
Perceptive observation, Herr Judge.
Thanks. It was kind of an accident, really. But you work in this job long enough. You get a nose for these things.
The judge sure seems pleased with himself.
Yes. Yuck.
Very good, Fraulein Detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how does that lead us to the killer?
I don't even know. I'm so lost on that one. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamar's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. And Machi practically left his signature at the scene. All this evidence clearly points to the defendant.
That was quick. Lamar's song?
Yes, the guitar's serenade. You noticed it's code, too, did you not?
It's code.
All the events that day followed the lyrics to our song.
Yep. Sugar. Yes. Okay.
First the keys, my heart, held on so tightly, were stolen. Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames.
Oh yeah, on stage, Mr. Latou's life was taken by a bullet.
The rest hardly needs explanation. Guitar, up together to the sky.
That's mad! You're telling us. It's like a story out of some fairy tale.
Really fucked up fairy tale.
I admit I'd forgotten about the song, but there it is now.
waiting for me. The grand finale, as it were. Hey, I was the one who first noticed that. I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting to songs, but killing? Whoa, that's on an entire other plane.
It's a wild world out there, Judge.
Very well. We've heard one song and dance. Let's get on to the next. The cross-examination. I'm not so sure I'm going to be doing much singing. But with your chords of steel? No. Anyways. Well, my health is absolutely in the pisser. But we have constant save states. I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. I don't know why I'm pressing that, but sure. Who would steal a body just to match some lyrics? I didn't believe in myself, but it can't just be a coincidence.
And it is as Fraulein Detective says. Let us begin with the first verse, if you would, Fraulein Detective.
Clavier and Apollo need to do a duet. That would be pretty good, I think. You want me to sing it?
You are the witness, yeah? Or did you want me to sing it? I warn you, my fee as vocalist is not trivial.
Fine. Let's look at the first part of the lyrics, shall we? I don't even know what. Stole away the keys to my heart. I'm not even gonna freaking try and sing it. Guilty of love, Apollo. I'm fine. You stole away the keys. Yes.
Indeed. My favorite heart-shaped keyring was stolen that morning.
Next, we go to the right page of the lyric sheet, where we find burning on in my heart, fire, burn my love away, all away. And fire guitar. Yes. Oh, and I missed that entire thing. Great. Like a bullet of love, fire, take my life away, all away. You headcanon Emma being a good singer. Well, I'm not, so I'm ruining that headcanon. Or at least I don't think so. I'm good when it comes to certain tones and certain songs, but I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even sure if I'm good. Mr. Lotus's life was taken by a bullet.
Bravo, Fraulein Detective. You're singing. It's not bad. Now, for the finale. Guitar, up together, to the sky.
Yes.
As it says in the lyrics, Mr. Lotus was found with a guitar high in the sky over the stage.
I should say, I think I can sing songs that I can really get into, but then there's that whole karaoke the karaoke mentality you get where you're just like, yeah, I love singing this song. And then everyone else around you is ripping their ears off, being like, oh God, what are you doing to this precious song? Whoa! Living on a prayer. Someone shut his mic off.
No series of coincidences could be so well conceived.
He's right. Scientifically speaking. What would Walkie have said? That concert was whack. It's hard to argue when she pours her heart into it like that. Anyway, the shooter. Okay, so that was the entirety of that one. Jeez, I believe Machi stole the body because of some lyrics. I'm trying to think if maybe there's some extra little bits to the lyrics that probably should have been followed. Move the body to match Lamar's song. We got the proof, so. Does the prosecution have any idea why he'd do all this? You want my scientific opinion? No clue. But he clearly had a reason to go through all that trouble. Some deep reason. A deep reason?
Not only does he steal my keys, he torched my guitar. Unforgivable act, even if he had a reason. And worse, if he had none.
The Diva's complaints aside, I can't imagine someone doing this on just a whim.
Fraulein Detective, I take offense at...
Indeed, it does seem too well rehearsed, shall we say. Yes, this crime was planned for sure. Apollo, Emma, Clavier, only trio you ship with, you ship each pair in. Ah, yes. The classic fan ships. I'm trying to think if I... Okay, nope. I can tell you 100% I do have my own little ships with my own little games myself. So I'm not even going to... No judging on that one. Night in the Woods. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. But Mr. Latouche spoke English. He may have come to this country before. I looked into that, I assure you. Oh? It was his first time in the country, it seems. Apparently he learned English on his own. Great!
You see, no one here had a motive to kill him. Certainly not in such an elaborate fashion.
Does seem difficult to imagine. Unless our famous prosecutor did it as a publicity stunt. What did you say? Prosecutor Gavin, you did this to promote your song? No, he didn't. Unless this is really seedy.
Of course not. I'm quite dismayed by the ludicrous nature of her claim. Why would I need promotion? Everyone already listens to my music.
They're even in my textbooks at school. And I'd never heard of them. What does that say about me? I was just kidding. Don't get all worked up, Glimmer Boy. And Machi practically left his signature. Okay, what signature are we talking about aside from him being there? What do you mean by his signature? The bullet hole in the wall, of course. The bullet holes? The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall. And that means what exactly? That dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It'll be difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range. Difficult to miss, you say? That is a good point. It is very, very messy in there. Like, unless you're really bad with that pistol, I can see that being the case. Claviers in school textbooks. I feel like this is sort of the fan things where like the kids graffiti in their textbooks. And the fun part is when those textbooks are reused at the end of like the next year. And you open them and you find somebody's like random diary notes being like, okay, freaking weird. I've had that before. Just being like, should I be prying into this? I feel like I shouldn't. I know that there are some schools that actually they check. I don't know why, but they like meticulously check the textbooks. It's usually like the teacher that isn't being paid a dime more for the sake of it goes in and checks all the pages in the textbook to make sure they can't find anything very specific in there. And if they do, they just throw them out. It was very... Assuming the shooter could properly aim. No, you can't be serious. Machi, he can't see. That's why he missed? It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly.
That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound.
A blind shooter. No wonder he missed. I feel like that's even worse than... Blind shooter would have shot across like the other side of it. I don't even know. I feel like it would be way off if that were the case, but it seems like he had a pretty good line of sight on him. I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Think, Justice. What do I do now? I don't know. Fine. Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see.
Well, how so?
Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver? The revolver was a very large caliber, correct? If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why, it could dislocate their shoulder. Exactly. The defendant, Machi Tabai, is, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely. Kickback alone would throw off his aim.
feel like I'm missing something here. Convincing argument to be sure. Take that, smug prosecution.
Apollo,
What?
that bit about Machi being tiny and the gun throwing off his aim. Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it?
Ah! Oh.
It does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point.
Yerk! Cripes, I really put my foot in it this time.
But let's get the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Fraulein Detective.
Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony.
Right, okay, here we go. From the state of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind. Was the shooter blind? Wonder if I have anything to, speak against that.
You can't say he was blind just because of those bullet holes in the wall. I think I've proven that.
I wouldn't call it proof, per se.
Uh-huh.
You've merely raised a possibility. Fraulein Detective has made a most logical conjecture based upon the evidence. Of course, there is more evidence than just bullet holes. The defendant was the only one that could have escaped through the air vent.
But wait, if he was blind, how would he have known how the air vent about the air vent in the first place?
Very good point. Well, Fraulein Detective, if you would care to explain.
Oh, good. There's an explanation for that too.
Watching Apollo Justice streams remind you of how much you love Emma. She's very peppy, yes. Call the crime scene if you would. There's a stepladder below the air vent. As it happens, maintenance was scheduled for that day. Custodial staff went around checking all the air vents.
I don't believe it.
Everyone backstage was told about the maintenance, including Machi Tabayi. He would have known that there would be a way out at the top of the stepladder.
But that's... Why isn't this the first time I'm hearing about this?
Yeah, you could have figured it out for yourself. You only need to consider what the stepladder was doing there.
Looks like the defense's objection has been squashed by a stepladder.
Well, forehead. Out of ammunition, perhaps?
I've never seen Prosecutor Gavin so aggressive. Maybe he's caught the scent of blood. Apollo, don't you have something? Anything?
You know what we need? We need something to prove the killer could see. That'll put him in his place.
Proving the shooter was sighted would do it.
That would take down one of their central points. Do we have any evidence that can prove that, though?
Good question. Let me think about this real quick. Proof that the shooter could actually see. Okay, well, you don't need to read in order to know the lyrics. Nothing very specific about that. There's really nothing in there that even slightly proves anything about like where I mean, unless there's something very... Here's an idea. Wait a minute. When you stole away the keys, my heart held on to so tight. Okay, pressure, a fleeting melody wraps itself around me, and now I fly into the air. I fly, burning on my heart. Fire, burn my love away, all away like a burning love. Fire, guitar. I was just thinking, like, if there was something in there involved with, like, the specific place that he got shot at. Is there something specific about this? Okay. There's nothing very specific about... Let me see this. Blood loss due to 45 caliber bullet wound. Time elapsed between shooting and death currently under review. Okay.
I thought maybe, like, very specifically it talked about, you know, the actual spot that he got shot at, but I don't think so. I do feel like there's got to be a way to prove that he actually was able to see. I don't know. And that's just a publicity card. That'll be something later. Maybe it's the keyring. Found the victim's left hand holds keys to a guitar case and a motorcycle. I mean, no, that doesn't really make. I mean, because if Machi just like knew it was his keys, how the hell would he? Okay, no, it's really starting to break my brain. Because how would Machi have had any idea that? Oh, man. How would he know that these keys were shaped like a heart to begin with? How would he have been able to use this in his plan? I think I might have just the thing there. Fine. I accept the prosecution's challenge.
As I knew you would, Airforehead.
What exactly am I up against here? Prosecution is saying the shooter missed because they couldn't see. Therefore, Machi, who's blind, did it. The defense will please present their evidence after saving. Because, holy God, if I'm wrong... There we go. Evidence that overturns the prosecution's claim that the shooter couldn't see. And is there anything in this thing talking about, like, shooting somebody in the chest? Probably not. See. Bullets of love, fire. No, it's just talking about a bullet of love. There's nothing specific about that. Again, I gotta come down to the fact that, yeah, I mean... Maybe, I mean, like... It says nothing about actual keys in here, right? Well, alright. When you stole the keys, my heart held on to so tight. That's really friggin' specific. Anything about the diagram, maybe? So what would prove that the shooter would not be able to see? Or, well, like, what would the proof be that the shooter could see, rather? I could just try stuff. Oops! I'm not sure that it overturns anything, Mr. Justice. Wrong evidence, I'm guessing.
Apparently both love and justice are blind.
Crap. That's enough. I see no need to prolong this trial. The defense's case is insufficient to overturn the prosecution's claims. The court finds the defendant, Machi Tobaye... Damn it. Maybe the keyring? Nope. Machi Tobaye, Machi Tobaye, da 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 da. Yeah, whatever. I wanted to try. Okay. So I thought maybe the revolver. Holy shit. Whatever. Okay, that's it. This is that evidence. The photograph of the crime scene? I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face. This is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's points.
Then perhaps you'd best show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, huh?
Very well. Show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. Damn it. I'm not done yet. Okay. Maybe now I can figure it out. Okay, the contradiction at the scene of the crime is... I feel like maybe that blood splatter. That's the only, like, noteworthy thing that's happening here, but let's try it. The contradiction is right here. The smeared bloodstains?
I thought it was just my blurry vision, but it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head, much like a gesture I've seen many times in this court.
It's weird. It's just a serial of ridiculous cases where it's like the victim wrote his name at the last minute. Yeah, right. It's almost as if he wrote something. Aha! I get it! At least, I think I get it.
I get what, Fraulein?
Well, Mr. Latus was shot. He tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here.
That does seem to be a distinct possibility.
The victim wrote the killer's name. It's certainly a logical conclusion. Drat! I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind. Or...
Neither would I.
Everybody's brains rebooting at the same time, eh?
No one has anything else to say? About what?
So, the prosecution accepts this? You agree that this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer? And that the killer tried to rub the name out? What's your point?
What's my point? Let me ask you this. How'd the killer know the victim was writing their name?
Well, Mr. Latus was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw what it was, Wait.
Once he saw what it was...
But what did you just testify about the shooter? I said they were blind. Ah! Yet the crime scene isn't... itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? May I remind the court that the defendant, Machi Tobai, is blind. He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible!
Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin, please explain to me what all this means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see, yet up until now...
It seems I owe the court an apology. The Gaviniers are a band with law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred during our concert. Apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner.
I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Hey, Apollo, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us?
I've got an idea.
Let's rock there.
With these documents, but before that, I have a question for the Fraulein detective, if I may.
What?
Tell me, why would you think that Machi Tobayari is blind?
What did you say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind.
Of course.
He's the blind pianist, right? He's... Doesn't Lenoir lead him around by the hand all the time? No way.
I have a report here on the defendant Machi Tobai. According to this, Machi Tobai can see perfectly well.
Shit! Oh, convenient for you. What?
His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by the clever Borginians. He can see quite well.
But you said...
What did I say exactly? If I had not once in this court of in the course of the trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Fraulein Detective.
But that's
a significant fact. Yes, consider Machi Tobai sees, and he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. I see no problem with this.
What about the bullet holes in the wall?
Yes, the bullet holes. I believe Air4 had neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the .45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words.
Yeah.
How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Airforehead.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Can I get a day to get some investigation done, please?
I knew you didn't have what it took.
You jerk. Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize.
Sorry.
That's no way to apologize.
He's angered the Trucy now. Look out.
If we could please end the bickering now. Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solve this case even if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant. Don't say that.
Aha!
Aha, what?
This blood stain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right?
That seems to be what happened, yes.
We might be able to find out what was really written here.
Really? You could do that?
That's right. With this. It's called luminol. All right. Maybe you know of it. It's a chemical that reacts to blood.
Yes, we've done those tests yet.
As if I'm going to tell you.
The blood stain covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, the section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in court now.
Oh, great. Pretty little pile of rug. Right. Go for it, Apollo.
I have to do the test?
Yes, because you're the only non-NPC here. You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple.
Chemical that reacts to blood.
I've heard of this somewhere.
Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it.
Right. Ready? It's easy as pie. Just touch the screen to spray an area. Here, give it a try.
The eyes of the entire court are focused on me.
Apollo, your hand's shaking.
Let's do this.
Oh boy. So we spray the corners.
Yep, that's a lot of blood. A lot of that. Not looking forward to this.
What the hell's that?
It's just a random spray of, like, numbers and letters. It really works.
This must be the power of science. It says IPEX 314206. Is that the killer's name? No, I don't think so. I don't know what the hell that is.
Maybe it is if the murder's a robot.
I have it.
So, what is it?
I thought those letters IPXX looked familiar. This is an Interpol ID number.
Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency?
Yes, most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes. But why would he write that number?
Why would Mr. Latouche even know a number like that?
Good show, Fraulein Detective. Rock on. Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, are you there? I come up to the witness stand.
Uh-oh. Hey, sup, dude?
Darian, you heard what we need? Go check into this Interpol ID number.
Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, give me 27.
I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet if this number is really that of an Interpol agent...
Oh, wait, I know. What if Machi Tobai is really an undercover Interpol agent?
Well, that would be a possibility.
A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain. What did Latouche know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know.
Well, we have some time while we await Darian's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we?
More freaking mysteries?
A curious mystery concerning Machi Tabai.
What are you talking about?
Fraulein Detective, please accept my apologies. I received word that the defendant could in fact see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you.
You had me until the last bit.
Does this not raise a rather straightforward question?
Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see?
Exactly. Makes little sense. What do you think, Carefulhead?
Me?
Machi Tabai pretended he was blind. Do you know why?
How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on the whole time.
Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of game? Know that the moment I heard that report, I knew why.
I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else.
What does that have to do with anything?
There was a reason why Machi Tabai pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Get in the picture now?
It wasn't for himself?
Well, Mr. Justice,
I know what those words mean.
well, spit it out. Answer the question I am about to show you. Can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign blindness?
Why do you have to feign blindness? There's a good question. I mean, if he is some kind of a weird Interpol agent, then that would be something. But I mean, I'm going to take a guess that the reasoning that he's saying is because he needed to, kill a man. Lamar's own publicity postcard. There's nothing really about him in here, but maybe. And this is an investigation involved with this crime specifically, so that wouldn't be why he's trying to... Okay, I mean, the only thing that I could possibly think, and especially something that I think Gavin would be trying to make me say is, it's because he needed to kill someone. Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see, which means... No, it couldn't be.
Good showing for it. Seems you've thought of something.
Why can't I figure these things out on my own? I hate having to take my cue from this guy. Very well. Look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see. Again, I feel like it has something to do with this crime. But I don't know what piece of evidence it would actually, coincide with it, though. Unless it's very specifically something with Lamar. That might be it. Aha! Yes, okay. Good. I'm glad I didn't pick any of the other things. Shit. Whew.
That is... Lamar?
Lamar and Machi Tabai. Recall their relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country. Lamar and her pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind, quote. She'd let him at all times, never letting him go.
All times.
Yet we just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Machi could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time?
Well, wasn't it part of their performance?
I think there's a simpler explanation. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing. I'm a little bit lost myself. What? Really? It was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Lamoire! Holy shit.
What's this? So you mean to say that Lamoire is... she's...
Yes, Your Honor. Lamoire is blind.
What?
Holy hell.
Order! This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin!
Is it now?
Please, shed some sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim.
The only thing outrageous I see are about the defense's vast forehead. Yet I see it as not vast and vain this time. He's quite correct.
But that makes no sense!
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something?
Well, since we have her here,
Dear.
why not ask Lamar herself? I believe she's still in the witness waiting room.
Apollo, what does this mean for our case?
Don't ask me. I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined until now. It's kind of weird how, like, you couldn't tell that she was blind as you were talking to her earlier. But hey, maybe she's just really good at puppeteering herself. I don't know.
Bailiff, bring in Lamoire!
Lamoire. Pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way. And yet I must.
Please do not be concerned on my behalf.
Those eyes. She really can't see. Really?
It is true.
Ever.
How funny it is that a tiny lie born in the Borginian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world.
So you are...
Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamoire. Know too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamoire.
I see.
You may recall me saying something towards the beginning of this trial, there, Forehead.
What's that?
I believe I said it was unfortunate the crime had no direct witnesses. Now, Lamar, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes?
Of course. It was never my intention to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor?
Yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here.
I think we're all a bit lost here, Your Honor. I certainly have been for a very long time.
I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So, silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
But this is a murder trial.
Why does that matter? I don't know.
I apologize. This was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret, no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would.
She told us the truth in the beginning, when she said she saw nothing.
Oh, waka. Damn it.
Very well. Does the defense have anything to add?
I'd like to cross... Yeah, that's about it. That's all I can do.
But what is there left to ask?
There's one thing in her testimony that bothered me.
Perhaps it is best we let you get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself.
Very well. The defense may proceed. However, Be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness. Okay.
There was only one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy. Oh boy, does that mean that I can only ask one question? Boy, now I definitely think I need to save. Save time. Yep. Phone, hey. Oh, I think I need to get a new charge cable for my phone. It's starting to act up. Okay. So I've saved, so screw it. No consequences. So you don't know why you went blind?
I do not. I may have been born this way, in fact.
It's fruitless to attempt to pry into her past. And I might add, it's a delicate subject.
I'm not sure we can reasonably expect Mr. Justice to do anything delicately. Hey, why are you on it? Take a deep breath. Calm down.
What I have now is all that I have. It is enough, I think.
Okay, debuted in the world of darkness and sound.
Weren't you nervous to hit the stage in your condition?
No, not at all, surprisingly. It felt natural, singing in front of singing in front of everyone.
It's not something just anyone can do.
She has talent, that much is quite clear. You might even say she is beloved by the gods of music.
Even without light, I live perfectly happy in my world of sound. If that is a talent, as you say, then I thank the gods responsible.
What about your PR model, Bear?
Producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. Sounds about right. PR doesn't pay too much attention. Perhaps your music reminded him of the Borginian scenery?
No, it was quite the opposite.
The opposite?
According to my producer, my music has a certain global quality.
Global?
Multicultural, if you will, hard to pin to one region. When people listen to it, they picture the country closest to their hearts, which is why my music has reached so many. What a lovely story!
Sounds like this producer might have known what he was doing after all.
Perhaps. And then there is the signage.
All right. My songs are nothing more than a white canvas. To me, the real landscape painters are the listeners. When I think of that, I do not mind how I am represented to the world so much, yes. Yet one thing quickly led to another. So, silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see.
Was that to protect your image as the landscape painter in sound?
That does not matter so much to me, really. But the label is quite concerned about it, I think.
Again, that's exactly what record executives are like. Just like, no, vision! We need to make it so that everyone sees you as someone who sees. You have to... Because somehow money. Landscape painter who can't see. It's like a pianist who can't play, I'm saying nothing. I'm not sure you can compare to your father. Oh my god. You went ahead and said it.
The world of commercial music is filled with these little white lies. Nothing is sacred when it comes to publicity. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latouche?
Of course. He was my manager.
So he knew. And that's what's been bugging me.
Is something the matter, Mr. Justice?
I believe I know what's bothering our young defense attorney. You are thinking of when you discovered the body, yes?
Is he right, Apollo? Yes, I was. He's alive. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Cold. So cold. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry. You're gonna be fine. Help is on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness? The witness is... Siren. The witness can't see. Huh. Mr. Latouche told me to ask the witness, and he named you.
Why would he do that? He knew you were blind.
I don't know.
Tisk, tisk. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself.
Meaning what?
There's no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more.
The witness, Siren. We've heard them many times, along with a little play acting by our defense.
I remember them well myself, but that statement is not what I refer. I mean what he said before that.
Yep. Before? What came before that?
That's right. He tried to tell you. When he said, can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness.
I see!
Too bad the defense did not. Well, Airforehead, try relaxing and looking at the facts
First next time. Slackjaw! Yeah, I caught that. Order, order!
Recall Ramar's earlier testimony.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it.
But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that.
That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Latouche witnessed her through that window. Why else would he have named her as a witness?
But I really did not hear them. 2 gunshots and the man's voice.
Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We have already run a simulation, of course.
But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant.
Your Honor! Okay. Well, hey, how's it going? What is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in session here?
We have the results back from the investigation.
The investigation?
Oh, the Interpol number that Mr. Latouche left us.
Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterwards. Detective Crescend, your report, please.
I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing.
Quick work as always, Darian.
Well, tell us about the number. I'm getting so antsy. Answer my pants. Is the defendant a secret agent?
IPXX 314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche.
What?
Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. What the fuck? He was apparently in the middle of an operation.
Holy shit. So, when he wrote those letters,
he was trying to tell us his own identity. And a cautious killer tried to wipe them away. Mr. Latouche was an undercover Interpol agent? So him being Lamar's manager
was just a cover, most likely.
There's one other important detail I found.
Well, out with it.
It concerns that 45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently, it belonged to Romain Latouche. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms, and the registration number on that revolver matched.
So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver.
So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op? So our little old Nicolas Cage, turns out he was an undercover agent. That's oddly fitting. I wonder how that ties into everything.
Guy, it's got to tie in somehow, you'd think.
Yeah, somehow. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescend. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out.
Hold it. Who? Oh, hi, how's it going?
Wait!
Lamar, is something the matter?
That voice just now!
Holy shit.
Darian?
Mr. Darian, is it? It was him. I am sure of it.
It was him? You aren't saying that...
That voice I heard, talking to Mr. Latus. When I heard the gunshots fired, it was him! It was Mr. Darien!
Is this some kind of a joke? What? Good. No way.
Oh boy. He looked kind of like a scumbag.
Courtroom fell into such a chaotic state the trial had to be suspended temporarily. Never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. Lamar fingering Darian Crescent. Not only is he a guitarist, he's a detective. Could it really have been his voice Lamar heard? Things were changing fast. Frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it.
Hey, no whipping out now, Apollo. Shit. To be continued. Oh boy. What's happening on the other side of this? Are we going to be doing some more investigation, or are we just going to be more... Oh, yeah, apparently some investigation stuff. Yeah, as much as I would like to do some, like to long haul the investigation portion of this, I kind of want to put off the investigation part and then the final trial part, because that's what I'm guessing is going to happen here. This investigation, and then we're going to dive into some trial stuff. I kind of want to do a long haul on next Saturday, because I don't. It's not like I don't have a ton of stuff to do tomorrow, but I am a little bit busy, and I would like to get a little bit of sleep. So this was interesting, that's for sure. Also, I don't know why, but my voice is particularly raw. I'm wondering if maybe my voice hasn't recovered from doing Hatoful Boyfriend on Wednesday. Which, holy shit, that's got a lot of voices to do. A lot of, like, retching voices. You know, the ones that actually do, like, just shred every single fiber in your throat. I don't know. I kind of like that. Here's a question, though. How many more cases are there aside from this one? I'm kind of curious as to this, because, I mean, I doubt that this is the finale. I'm pretty sure we would have at least one more case after this. I'm curious about that. And also, did games get any longer after the, the whole original series was out? I don't know. But yes, where I am, it's 9 o'clock, and I think I should be winding down and get myself ready to go to bed. Or at the very least, just sort of chilling out or something to that degree. So, yeah, I think that we're going to call that for tonight. This has been fun. It's been fun jumping into it. Looking forward to the next one, just to figure out how the hell... Freaking Interpol agents? Seriously? It's ridiculous. Here we go. Anyways, yes, I'm going to call it for tonight. So, yeah. Thanks for everybody who popped in the chat to say hi. Thank you, Mario, for, the help in the chats. If you want to take a look at this episode after it's done, yeah, I'm definitely going to be cutting out all the times I got... Well, not cutting out all the times I got guilty. I'm going to cut them down so that there's less thinky bits, so it's a little bit easier to watch. And then I'm going to upload it up to the YouTube page after I do that. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, all of them around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Tomorrow, it's going to be New Year's Eve, and I'm going to be streaming on that day. And actually, I'm thinking I'm going to be streaming all the way through to like New Year's. It's going to be actually New Year's Eve. I'm going to be streaming all the way up to New Year's Day. It'll probably be Stardew Valley again, just because that's a pretty easy game for me to just sink my teeth into and play it long haul. It's like there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done during that game. Some other games I'm playing. It's been a while since I've played a roguelike, so I'm thinking I might want to try and play a roguelike on next Wednesday. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I've also been playing, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which, unfortunately, I don't feel like posting that up to the YouTube, because Nintendo can suck a big fat one. But I'm cool with streaming it. So if you want to watch me play any Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you're going to have to catch it on the stream. I got some other... I do have one game that I would love to try on stream that I've recently picked up. I would love to give it a shot. Problem is, though, it's one of those games that I definitely need to put some practice into. I'm not going to jump just right into playing the game on stream, because it's going to be very painful to try and watch me figure out the game as I play it. And I think it is one of those games that would be pretty fun for me to just jump in and give it a shot. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it was, but I'll get into it if I ever do stream it. But anyways, I just know that it's been particularly, well, in my circle of friends, it's been particularly popular. I don't know if it's really popular with a lot of people right now. Come to think of it, I could actually, I can give you a hint about it here. Actually, I don't have Steam up. Shit. I never opened up Steam when I restarted my computer. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Loading. What the hell's this? What the fuck? Wow, okay. The first thing I get is an advertisement for Top Gun in 3D for big screen. Yeah, because I totally care about that. I'm going to check and see if this is a popular game right now on Steam. I'd like to think it is. I think it is. Let me... Oh, for God's sakes. The winner... hold up. Okay, here's the top sellers, because... Yeah, the whole winter sale is still happening for Steam, so it's difficult to actually navigate the menus right now. Funny enough, no, the game isn't here. Okay, so I think it's popular amongst my my group of friends, but that's because we're like super uber nerds and we love this kind of ridiculous nonsense. Okay, now I'm gonna finish things up for tonight. Again, thanks everybody for popping out. See you next time.